So, as the music plays, we like to invite you to just close your eyes, relax, rest in the presence, and hold space.
Ganapataye namo namaha. Ganapataye namo namaha. Ganapataye namo namaha. Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignyakara Dhura Hamare. Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignyakara Dhura Hamare. Ganapataye namo namaha. 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 Omega Dantaya Vidmahi Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Danti Prachodayat. Ganapataye namo namaha. 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 Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignyakara Dhura Hamare. Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignyakara Dhura Hamare. Ganapataye namo namaha. 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 Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamari. Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamari. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Ganapataye Namo Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Suklambaradharam Vishnu Sasivarnam Chaturvujam Prasannavadanam Dhyaye Sarvavignyopashantaye. Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha. 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 Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamari. Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamari. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Ganapataye Namo Namaha.
Namaste. Welcome to our weekly online Satsang. Satsang is a Sanskrit word that means community of truth. A simpler way to put it might just be spiritual community, wherever two or more people who are on the path of awakening and transformation in higher states of consciousness, whenever two or three or more come together, there you have a Satsang. And we're strengthened exponentially by sharing the presence that we generate in our awakened states. When we come together and share our presence, we share our journeys, our sense of the presence is multiplied exponentially, and we're greatly helped. Coming together with others is very important on the spiritual journey. We can only do so much of it alone, and we're never really alone, because there's really only one of us, which is why we need to wake up. We're 8 billion strange expressions of one universal consciousness. So it's very important that we awaken to that reality as soon as we can. The collective of humanity needs to shift from competition, conflict, and violence to cooperation, harmony, and peace. And that will happen through the flowering of the heart. And that happens one person at a time, but we're looking forward to the time where the entire collective consciousness shifts. And people are just done with competition, conflict, violence, and war. And we see that day coming because we see you. And how many people are awakening? How many people are experiencing the flowering of the heart? To that end, we share something called the Flowering Heart Blessing, which is a gift of grace from the divine source. Since it's a gift, grace, it's absolutely free. We charge nothing for it. And what it does is it activates your connection at the center of your spiritual heart with the divine source that dwells within you. In you, deep at the center of your being, is the divine itself in all of its fullness, fully enlightened, fully divine, and it is your true sacred self. It turns out that what we've been looking for is us. You are the one you've been looking for, and it's been inside of you all the time. The Flowering Heart Blessing causes that sense, that experience of that connection with the divine source within to just come alive and to begin to radiate outwardly and shine through all the layers of our being, enlightening, illuminating our spiritual layers, and then penetrating the mental layers of our being where all the thoughts and the emotions, the charges and programming exists, clearing that and setting it straight, flooding our mortal bodies, our physical bodies with healing and life, and shining out into our relationships, setting them right and healing them, and through our lives out into the world, affecting everything around us. So the Flowering Heart Blessing is a really beautiful thing, and we're flowing it out to you right now. You're soaking in it. And what we came to learn about it is that when you receive the Flowering Heart Blessing, just even once, you're immediately activated, initiated to be able to share it yourself. So if you like the presence that you're feeling, the energetic space, unlimited, boundless, clear space, consciousness, joy, love, peace, if you like that and you want to share it with others, just invite the divine presence to pour the Flowering Heart Blessing through you, and you can hold people in your heart during meditation or prayer, or if they're in your physical presence, with their consent, you can lay your hands lightly on their head. Just invite the divine to flow through you and get out of the way, because it's really nothing that we're doing. We're just serving as an instrument through which grace can flow. So please join us in doing that now and throughout the webcast, and we'll go into deeper transmissions of the blessing a little later on, where we'll take a strong intention for divine intervention in circumstances and situations that you've brought with you in your heart tonight. We'll get to that a little later on, and then we'll conclude with the open eye light meditation at the end. I guess I need to say, where's Suzanne? Well, she had to be somewhere else this evening, so she's not with us. She's with us in spirit, though, and joining with us energetically. So we'll carry on. And we're glad you're here. And what we like to do is between now and a little later on, where we get into those deeper transmissions of intent, blessing, and then the open eye light meditation, we like to open it to questions and answers about the spiritual journey, about spirituality, about awakening, about meditation, prayer, the divine, anything that you'd like more clarity and insight about concerning spirituality and the spiritual path. Please share it, because everyone will be blessed. We all have different journeys, and yet they're parallel. And a lot of the challenges that we meet along the way, we all go through. So if you ask your questions, it's going to help all of us. And while you think about that, I see that there's one already, which I'll come back to. I like to open with some quotes from inspiringquotes.com. Kind of cool website. Various authors write these very brief articles and then give lists of quotes that they've gathered from famous people, spiritual teachers, artists, scientists. And tonight, our list of quotes in our little article is called Energizing Quotes for When You're Feeling Drained. And this was compiled by Joyce Chen, who's a writer, editor, and community builder based in Seattle, Washington. So thank you, Joyce, for this collection of quotes in this little article. And here's what Joyce writes. We live in a world that feels very go, go, go all the time. So it's totally natural to feel burnt out or energetically depleted from time to time. Whether we're wearily facing the start of yet another work week, or we've been dealing with a slump in creativity or motivation, feeling low energy can be frustrating and demoralizing. As humans, we feed off of positive energy and enthusiasm to keep going through tough times. And when our stores are running low, it can feel difficult to perform even the simplest of tasks. It's reassuring to know that feeling uninspired is a universally relatable state of being. Throughout history, great thinkers have waxed poetic about the importance of finding our muses in the everyday, whether it's a mentor, a friend, or even just the way the sun shines through a particular window in your home. The important thing is to seek beauty and meaning in something outside ourselves, something or someone who reinvigorates us to try again, to be better, or to reframe our situation. Below, we've rounded up 14 quotes meant to help you feel energized and ready to tackle a new day. So here we go. When you pay attention to what feeds your energy, you move in the direction of the life for which you were intended. Oprah Winfrey. Usually, what we fear doing most is usually what we most need to do. Timothy Ferriss. How infinitely superior to our physical senses are those of the mind. Indeed, the power of imagination makes us infinite. John Muir. My mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive, and to do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style. Maya Angelou. The scariest moment is always just before you start. After that, things can only get better. Stephen King. How wonderful it is that no one has to wait, but can start right now to gradually change the world. How wonderful it is that everyone, great and small, can immediately help bring about justice by giving of themselves. Anne Frank. Find out who you are and do it on purpose. Dolly Parton. One accomplishment in life adds another hope for further accomplishment. This hope pulls us through. It would not be wrong to say that hope is the cause of decision. We are then driven to action for our dreams to come true. Manjula Arora. Now that you don't have to be perfect, you can be good. John Steinbeck. Genuine beginnings begin within us, even when they are brought to our attention by external opportunities. William Bridges. The reason most people do not recognize an opportunity when they meet it is because it usually goes around wearing overalls and looking like hard work. Anonymous. Don't let the fear of losing be greater than the excitement of winning. Robert Kiyosaki. You will never plow a field if you only turn it over in your mind. Irish proverb. I hope you make mistakes. Because if you're making mistakes, then you're making new things, trying new things, learning, living, pushing yourself, changing your world. You're doing things you've never done before. And more importantly, you're doing something. Neil Gaiman. So, let's look at the questions that some of you have written. And you can keep them coming because we'll have time for more. Michael Christopher writes, why do we not remember our past lives? Because we forgot them? That's a good question. Why don't we remember them? It's really a blessing. Rarely do people remember their past lives unless they put special effort into accessing those memories. Usually we enter each new lifetime tabula rasa. I mean, we bring with us maybe whatever karma and special blessings that were attained in the past, but we come as a newborn babe, innocent and open and free for new beginnings. If we were burdened with the memories of our past lives, we'd constantly be living in the light of our past lives instead of the light of the present moment where all things are possible, where everything is new. So it's really a great blessing. Occasionally a great being, like Paramahansa Yogananda, he had experiences from previous lives. He had vision of the light of God in his mother's womb and had a conscious relationship with the divine from before his birth. Okay, that helped him fulfill his dharma, his life's purpose. But for most of us, it would just get in the way. We need to, and that's one of the reasons that human lifetimes only go on so long. We continue to grow, we continue to change, but humans tend to become stuck in certain ways, rigid in certain ways. When that happens, death and rebirth is a release from these rigid patterns we were stuck in to have a new beginning, a fresh beginning. So that's why. It's because that's the way the divine works with individual souls going through processes of reincarnation. Shirley writes, how would you explain critical mass or the tipping point? This is usually in reference to when we're talking about a shift in the collective consciousness of humanity. Many spiritual teachers and seers, mystics, have had the insight that when enough of humanity awakens to oneness beyond the illusion of duality and separation, separation from the divine, separation from each other, from all of creation, when enough of us awaken from that illusion, which is really delusion, it's a delusion of the mind, when we awaken to the essential unity that is reality, our oneness with divine source, our oneness with each other, our oneness with all that is. When enough of us come to that realization, many of us have seen that the collective consciousness of humanity itself will shift. Because you see, we're not just 8 billion separate consciousnesses. We are one consciousness that is manifesting and expressing itself through 8 billion unique forms. So, ultimately, what happens to one happens to all. Critical mass is the idea that a certain number needs to be attained. Some teachers said 0.001%, which is now, probably close to 80,000 enlightened beings on planet Earth would tip the collective consciousness of 8 billion. There's a story that goes along with this idea, which I think is instructive, and some of you have probably already heard it, the 100th monkey syndrome. And at first I thought this was just a made-up story to communicate a very valid spiritual point. But it turns out that scientists have been studying the snow monkeys for a long time. And there's a group of snow monkeys, they exist in various places all over the world, very cold places. And there's an island off the coast of Japan that's full of snow monkeys. And its location made it a great place for scientists that were studying that species to be able to observe their behavior and how that develops and changes. And what happened is that one day, a young snow monkey began to exhibit a new behavior. And the new behavior was it began to wash its food before it ate. Wash its food in its hands. And that is a very adaptive behavior. That's good for the species than to eat dirty food. So this one little young monkey began to exhibit that behavior. And others saw it. And, there's a saying, monkey see, monkey do. So other monkeys on that island began to imitate this very positive behavior. And it caught on slowly, but gradually, more and more of the monkeys on this island saw this great new idea of washing their food before they ate it. And they began to, one by one, pick up on it until one day, all the snow monkeys on Earth woke up one day and they began washing their food. The 100th monkey is this idea of when the behavior, a new behavior or a new insight reaches a critical mass, a certain number of people within a fixed population, that it tips the consciousness of that entire population. And the snow monkeys on that one island were enough within the global population to tip the consciousness of other snow monkeys that lived in places that had absolutely they were cut off completely from any exposure to the ones on this island off the coast of Japan that began exhibiting the new behavior. So it's that idea applied to spirituality, to human consciousness, that when enough of us break through into an enlightened state of consciousness, it will, one day, we'll all wake up and we'll go, war makes no sense. I love you. I don't want to fight you. We're one with each other. We are each other. And that's what we're working toward. So are there any other questions? I'm not quite sure how 111 relates to the tipping point, or what you might be pointing to, Joanne. If you want to expand on that, that would be awesome. Or if anyone else has anything, look inside. Because, and while I'm thinking about it, if you're on Facebook Live, give us a thumbs up or a heart. We go in at the end and look at the people that visited and see your names and send special hugs and blessings. And that goes for even if you're watching the recording later on tonight or tomorrow or in the next week, or if you discover this video a year from now. Go ahead and give us a thumbs up or even better, a heart. But they're both great. The only ones that make me sad are like the crying face or the angry one. So hopefully it'll be thumbs up and hearts. If you're watching on Vimeo, you would have to actually enter a comment in the chat, which is easy to do. So, hello, Yekaterina. Well, I'm not seeing any more questions. Which is fine. We are one. Yes, we are. 111. I like to tell a story. I'll just throw it out there really quickly. Some of you may have heard me tell it before. I apologize, but it's nice. It's the story of a bishop who is on a sea voyage, and he heard about these 3 hermits that live on an island, all by themselves, and they're reputed to be very holy, very spiritually high beings, probably saints. And so the bishop is really curious, and he asked the captain to take him to this island and let him go ashore and spend the day with these 3 hermits, and the captain obliged. And he got there, and the 3 hermits greeted him, and they embraced, and they were so excited to have a bishop come visit them. And he said, "So brothers, what is your spiritual practice? What have you done? What does your prayer life consist of that's enabled you to come to such a high and holy state of being and consciousness?" And they said, "Well, it's like this." And they lifted up their hands and they looked up to heaven and they said, "You are 3, you are 1. And they lowered their hands and said, "And we are 3, we are 1. You are 3, you are 1, we are 3, we are 1. And the bishop said, "Well, what else do you pray? I mean, do you know the Lord's Prayer?" And they went, "What's that?" And he was horrified that these 3 hermits of such repute didn't even know how to pray the Lord's Prayer. So he spent the day trying to teach them. They were not easy to teach. They couldn't seem to get past the first few words, "Our Father who is in heaven." It took a while to get past that. And he finally taught them the words of the Lord's Prayer close to the end of the day, and he needed to go back to the ship and continue his journey. So they wished the bishop adieu, and they thanked him so much for spending the day with them, teaching them this very lovely Lord's Prayer. And he got in his rowboat, and they went back out to the ship, and he goes into his cabin, and the captain calls to him and says, Bishop, come look at this. And he runs up on the deck and looks back toward the island, and the three hermits are walking on the water from the island out to the ship. And of course, nobody's seen anything like that. They read about Christ doing it, but here are these three old men walking on water, and they're standing on the water outside the ship, and the bishop he's just astonished. It takes his breath away. And he says, brothers, what's going on? And they said, Bishop, we are so sorry because you worked so hard to teach us that beautiful prayer. And we absolutely we can't remember a word of it. Would you please teach us again? And the bishop said, oh, brothers, you're doing just fine. Pray as you can, not as you can't. Meaning that our spiritual practice can be so simple. So it could be a single word. It could be a silent glance toward the divine. It could be an inward smile of connecting with the divine within. It can be so simple. And the more heart and the less mind, sometimes the less words, the better. So, 111. I like it. All right, well, we're going to dive a little deeper. So go ahead and close your eyes and invoke the divine presence within. This presence within that some of us have struggled throughout our lives to connect with, to experience, has been there all along, and we've never been separate. The feeling of distance from the divine, of not being in the light, are just illusions of the mind. Wrong teaching, wrong programming that we received often through religious teaching. The truth is, the divine within you is all-powerful, all-knowing, all-wise, and all pure unconditional love. And it just yearns deeply to awaken you to the reality of your essential oneness with the divine. Your true sacred self is fully enlightened and fully divine. And the divine wants to reveal it to you. To free you from suffering and fill you with joy and peace. To heal your soul and your body and your relationships. So allow it. Receive the flowering heart blessing flowing directly from the divine to you. This presence loves you so much. You cannot conceive of the depth of the love of the divine for you. There's nothing you could do to liberate yourself, to enlighten yourself, to transform yourself, apart from the grace of the divine itself. So just let go and receive. Allow the divine to free you, to heal you, to transform you, to infuse you with light, This divine presence knows what you need before you do, and has the power and the wisdom to transmit it to you. So just soak it up. If you've brought in your heart a burden for another person or group of people on earth, it's time to just release that to the divine. Allow the divine to intervene in that circumstance, that situation, and bring freedom. You don't need to beg, you don't need to ask, you don't need to keep praying, just receive. Now let us shift to imagining, visualizing us all sitting in a circle together. Keep your eyes closed and lift up your hands with your palms open, facing forward. Let us take a strong intent for the divine presence to flow through all of us, to flow through you to all the others sitting in the circle, knowing that the flowering heart blessing is flowing through them back to you. Now visualize the planet Earth in the center of our circle. The beautiful blue living planet, Gaia, Holy Mother Earth. And let us take a strong intention for the divine to bless and heal the earth. To cause the earth to be healed of its many scars, which we have caused. To bring healing to the earth and cause her to thrive. To cause every sentient living being on planet Earth to thrive. All life on Earth to thrive. To be filled with light. Imagine that we are zeroing in on the Middle East. And let us take a strong intention, a strong prayer for peace in the Middle East. For all violence to cease. For hatred and fear and anger to melt away to dissolve in divine love. Let us shift our attention to Ukraine. And again, let us take a strong intention, a strong prayer for peace in Ukraine and in all the nations around Ukraine and peoples. The divine light will awaken the hearts of all the people in the region. The divine love will melt away fear and anger and cause violence to end. Peace, peace, peace. Let us expand our vision to the entire planet, wherever there's armed conflict, wherever there is violence. Let us take a strong intent for peace on earth. For all human hearts to flower and awaken. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Now, you can rest your hands in your lap somewhere and open your eyes and begin to make direct eye contact with me as we dive into the light meditation. In this meditation, I'm flooded with oceans of light, divine light, love, grace, and it streams to you through every part of my being, especially through my eyes, which mystics have called the doorways of the soul. Your job is to just keep looking at one or both eyes and don't move away. Just keep looking and receive. Allow the divine presence to transform you. The light streams out of my eyes, into your eyes, through your eyes, deep into your spiritual heart, causing the flames of divine love, light, divine awakening to grow brighter and brighter and brighter within you. And all you have to do is relax, allow it, and keep looking. Now keep meditating as long as it feels nice to you. And or lie in Shavasana. One of the best things to do after any spiritual practice is to lie on your back with your eyes closed, your arms loosely at your sides with your palms open, turned upward, and just lie in the presence and dissolve in gratitude. Love you very, very much. It's always such a joy for Suzanne and me to be with you. Know that we love you very much and that the divine in us beholds the divine in you, and we bow to you. Namaste.